The Bills lost. The Bills lost? I'm not kidding. Before I start this video, two people that I have very much respect for posted two separate things. Like, one person posted, I hope that the Bills front office understands that you need to find a way to protect Josh Allen better. And then another guy posted a story where it said watching the Bills in 2025 means not knowing if you're watching a Super Bowl team or just a group of guys that met in the parking lot. You know what? That's pretty accurate. It's getting more and more accurate by the day. But you know what? Let's not worry about that now. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. And you know what? If nothing else, maybe, just maybe, talking about yesterday's episode of Hot Ones will make me feel a lot better. Huh. Just thinking about the fact you're going to be talking about Hot Ones makes me feel better. All hail the power of Hot Ones. Okay, so, let's see. Actually, you know what? I really could just say that my low and my high were the fact that the Bills lost yesterday and we got a new episode of Hot Ones back to respectively. That works. Yeah, let's just go with that. What's my act of kindness, though? Actually, you know what? Someone I know dropped a pen yesterday, and I picked it off the ground for him. So that was my act of kindness. Okay, so let's get out my Hot Ones notes, shall we? Because yesterday we had the great Winona Ryder on Hot Ones. You know, I actually thought it would have been funny if they talked about the fact that she was on I mentioned this on Tuesday, but she played Spock's mom in the Star Trek movie back in 2009. And then I talked about that she's only 6 years older than Zachary Quinto, and that's why it was kind of weird. Not as weird as the Tyler Perry cameo, but still. But no, they didn't talk about that. Instead, they talked about other things. Specifically, the fact that, as I suspected, she is promoting the 5th and final season of Stranger Things. Which, I haven't seen it. I absolutely have not seen it. I actually did hear I obviously don't really follow that show very much. Actually, I just realized my camera's a little off stuff. Hold on. That's a bit better. As I was saying, I remember one interview that one of the directors of Stranger Things said season 4 was their Game of Thrones season, and this upcoming season is going to be their Return of the King. Considering it's the 5th and final season, I would hope so. With all that said, considering that this is the final season, that also means the final day of shooting, which is actually something that Sean has asked several times in the past to several guests, which is, what's it like on the final day of shooting a major movie or show? Is it like a party or is it like a funeral? And it always astounds me. I guess it really shouldn't surprise me at all that for the most part, everyone thinks it's like a funeral. Because that is a significant part of that person's life, that show was, or that movie. And this is actually something Winona Ryder mentioned yesterday in the episode, where, for the kids who are in Stranger Things, this show was quite literally half of their lives. Not to mention, back when Winona Ryder was a kid, because she's been in movies for many, many years, and she's still really good too. What those kids in Stranger Things are experiencing now, those are the exact same feelings that she had on final days of shooting for the projects that she worked on when she was young. So it actually is kind of nice to hear that, you've got someone with that much movie cred who's able to say that and able to relate to those kids. That's actually that's special. That's really cool, actually. They talked about her collection of first edition books. They talked about, because I actually didn't notice Winona Ryder is a very avid reader, so I'm sure a bunch of my friends watching this who are avid readers will appreciate what I'm about to say. And it's actually funny. Remember how I said on the other day that it was on Tuesday I said this, where the hint that Winona Ryder was going to be on the show was the script for Heathers was like a novel? That was actually what they talked about. Because Sean asked her, like, as an avid reader, what would you say was the script that felt like a novel to you? And it was for Heathers. I mean, the script for Heathers was like 300 pages long, and she couldn't put it down. Which goes to show that Heathers really is a great film. I mean, I know what it's about. I haven't seen it, but I know what it's about. I need to see that movie, and I need to see the Broadway show. Yeah, they turned Heathers into a Broadway musical. Which I actually have the soundtrack for because Barrett Wilbur Reed's voice, chef's kiss. Okay. So, they talked about what's the most holy S-word moment, trying to be better by not cursing, while working on a Tim Burton film, and it was just working on the first Beetlejuice movie, as well as like the intimacy, and they talked about the intimacy between the actor and director. They talked about how she still has a whole bunch of handwritten notes from Martin Scorsese. And she still has them after all these years about like acting advice and things to do. And the best note she has is kiss him twice when they worked on The Age of Innocence, which is really cool. They talked about all the fact that when Francis Ford Coppola directed Dracula, it was like all practical effects that was used, like no CGI, like nothing, which, I mean, as I get older and older, and as time has gone on, CGI has gotten a lot better. If I recall correctly, Rob Walker of the Walker Brothers once said, the best CGI in a movie is the CG that you don't know is there. And we've been getting some movies like that, for sure. The best example I can think of off the top of my head is Mad Max Fury Road. But it's just so crazy that, I mean, I guess there's also a certain kind of warmth to the fact that, practical effects were used. Ooh, actually, another great movie that uses practical effects, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Shout out to the Russo brothers for that creative decision. Let's see, what else? She talked about how her favorite costume was being in a corset, which sounds as uncomfortable as it was effective for her being able to act. They talked about, for the bomb, they got to Marsha Mason movies that you should see, that Sean should see. Goodbye Girls, Audrey Rose, Cinderella Liberty, and this is actually really funny. Sean asked her, like, what was the first movie that she saw in which it, like, directly impacted her? And it was when she saw Fantasia. And she saw what was going on, and she thought she could get into the movie by literally running up to the screen and, like, jumping into it. I'm pretty sure every kid who's ever had any kind of imagination and wanted to be in the movies has thought of doing that. I know I thought of doing that at least once. So, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, a really great thing about Hot Ones is that, yeah, these are celebrities. And, yeah, they're famous and, for all intents and purposes, you would think that being on a show like Hot Ones might be beneath them, but it's what Bert Kreischer said in his episode. Like, you're taking what is an actor and what is a celebrity and taking it down to the id. Like, you're making them, I guess, I know there's a better word than this, but I can't think of it. It's, you're making them vulnerable. And for better or for worse, it works. Now then, they talked about her favorite keepsake from her Hollywood career, which was a giant sign that says "Call me" in exclamation marks. And for the last dab, Sean mentioned that legendary film critic Roger Ebert, rest in power, Roger, said that, like, something about Winona Ryder's eyes are able to, like, tell everything just by, like, looking at someone. I mean, Sean worded it better than I just did, I'm sorry. But basically, Winona Ryder had to give looks to the hot sauces. Which, I have to say, throughout the episode, like, Winona Ryder is saying, like, how nervous she was, and she's eating a bunch of ice cream, but, I mean, listen, she's a fighter, and she totally got through it. I mean, it also helps that, again, Sean Evans is the best wingman, no pun intended, in the game. And honestly, as I'm watching this episode, this is going to be so silly. As I'm watching this episode, because sometimes I'll watch Hot Ones and I think, man, I want to be on that show so bad, even though it's probably never going to happen. But as I'm watching Winona Ryder's episode yesterday, I'm thinking, like, for all intents and purposes, I know that I could probably do it. Like, get through the wings of death. And I don't need Sean to tell me that I'm going to do it. But that's the thing about being a good wingman. That's the difference between a good wingman and a great wingman. A good wingman would know that that person is going to do it and get through. Or stand by that. Basically, like, they'll be supportive, but I guess from a relative distance, if that makes sense. But what Sean Evans does is he will outright tell you that you're going to get through it, that you're going to get it done. Even when you don't think you would need to hear that, that's just nice to hear. I'm telling you, man, like, Sean Evans is the best wingman in the game. I mean, yes, granted, there have been plenty of episodes where the celebrities on there wind up saying that they hate Sean. Looking at you, Ken John. But I can tell you right now, if I was on Hot Ones, I really would totally make the same. Like, listen, this is the best wingman in the game. Every now and again, someone say they're going to hate Sean Evans. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be, like, happy that Sean Evans is here. Again, he's the best wingman. Actually, I have a great idea. If I was ever, how when Hot Ones does its intro, it'll quickly show, like, Sean and whoever the celebrity is, and they'll do stuff like blow on their mouths, or like they'll put their arms around each other, like having fun, or like drinking milk and stuff. I actually had, like, the most perfect way for how to start the episode if I was on. I can't give it away though. Hey, listen, what if I am? If I gave it away and I actually do wind up on Hot Ones, all of you will expect that. I don't want to do that. So I'll just say this. Season 28 is definitely winding down. I suspect we'll probably have maybe best 3 episodes after yesterday. I don't know who we're going to get. I mean, here's the thing. First We Feast, as of late, hasn't really done the greatest job of saying, like, what episode is the season finale. You just kind of, you have to guess based on who the celebrity is as well as the timing of everything. So I guess in the coming weeks, as I do my Hot Ones guest reaction videos, I'll be able to look at that guest and say, okay, this is good, but I don't know if that's, I guess, finale worthy, if that makes sense. Like John Mayer was like finale worthy. Weird Al Yankovic was finale worthy. Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo were finale worthy. I want to say Zac Efron was also a finale. I think he was. Actually, we've had a really great season so far. We've had Winona Ryder. We've had Woody Harrelson. We had Jeremy Allen White. We've had a really great season. We had Glenn Powell, too. Holy cow, we had Glenn. Yeah, I'll talk more about that when the season comes to an end. But right now, I can say I thoroughly enjoyed yesterday's episode of Hot Ones. Shout out to Winona Ryder. She got through it. Shout out to Chris Schoenberger and Sean Evans, camera guy Bill, everyone who works on Hot Ones. This was a great episode. Can't wait to see what happens next week. Let's go. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm around this video for all you guys watching. Join me. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. Remember, if you guys want to talk to me, with you to let me know back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby. Huh. I do feel better about the Bills losing now.